Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Dave. Welcome back to a tag video. Now today I'm doing the Get to Know Me tag. I think it's called the Get to Know Me tag. Getting to Know Me tag. And I was tagged in this by, I think Anthony Andrews, and I know definitely Will from the Bald Book Geek tagged me to do this because he knew that I hadn't done this one. And I've also seen a few other people do this, especially Steve Donahue. Oh, and our nephew, Dan Ball. And I shall link all of those channels down below. As Steve said in his video, I like these because they're nosy tags. We're going to run these questions down. There's quite a few of them, so I'm going to crack straight on. Question 1, are you named after anyone? No, I don't think I am. When's the last time you cried? This is a tricky one because I am a terrible crier at films and books. So it could be, we recently saw on a recent trip to Wales, we went to see The Happy Prince, which is the new Rupert Everett film about the post-prison life of Oscar Wilde. And there was a scene in that where Oscar meets Bosie at the train station. It's the first time they've seen each other in a couple of years. That was quite emotional. I had something in my eye there. But another film that springs to mind recently, Call Me By Your Name. That was very sad. That was a cry film. And yeah, all the time in books, all the time. There was a really sad letter in a book that I read recently called The Lost Letters of William Wolfe. And I confess I had a tear in my eye there as well. Next question, do you have any kids? Yes, I have 2 boys. If you were another person, would you be a friend of yourself? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, definitely. Do you use sarcasm a lot? I can do. Yeah, I can do. I try not to. I am guilty of it sometimes. What's the first thing you notice about people? That's a good one. Probably eyes. I notice people's eyes a lot. Eye colour, and people that express themselves via their eyes. What is your eye colour? Blue. Scary movie or happy endings? Happy endings for me, definitely. I don't like horror films. I don't like scary films because they scare me. There's a recent horror film out that's being billed, I think it's called Hereditary, and it's being billed as the scariest film since The Exorcist, and I saw the trailer, and if there was one film left in the world to see, I wouldn't want to go and see that film. I don't find them entertaining at all. They're just scary. I much prefer a happy ending. Favourite smells? Favourite smells, I think, I like vanilla and I like citrus and also linen. The smell of linen, freshly baked bread. I've got a lot of favourite smells, actually. But out of those, my favourite, probably linen, cotton, that type of smell. It's really nice. What's the furthest you've been away from home? Probably Florida. Probably Florida Keys, Key West. Do you have any special talents? Not particularly. I don't think I'm especially talented in anything. Where were you born? I was born in London, in England. What are your hobbies? Hobbies are reading. Funnily enough, I've got that is my only hobby now, really, is reading. I do like watching films, but yeah, mostly books, collecting of books, collecting of special editions of books, reading books. Let's just leave it at books. Do you have any pets? Yes, we have a dog. She's a 14-year-old Jack Russell Corgi cross. She's called Lottie. She's been on the channel before. She's getting very old now. She might even be 15 now, we're not sure. Do you have any siblings? Yes, I have one brother. What do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to be when you grow up? I wanted to be, when I was younger, I wanted to work with animals. Now, whether that involved being a vet or working in a zoo, or I just wanted to work with animals in some form. Never got around to that. Then I wanted to be in the RAF. Then I think when I was younger, I wanted to be a footballer at some point. Then I wanted to, and then for a long time I wanted to be a writer. I'll let you know when I grow up, and then we'll find out what I end up doing. Who was your first best friend? My first best friend, there was a little gang of 4 of us really. Well, you know, I use gang in the lightest possible term. At primary school, there was a little gang of 4 of us, and it was me, a kid called Chris, John and Mark and myself, and we were sort of inseparable at primary school. And then I had a really good friend called Adam who was in secondary school. How tall are you? I'm not sure, 5'9", 5'10", maybe. Funniest moment throughout school. I've told this story, I don't think I've told this story on here before, but I remember after games or PE or wherever you're watching this, I'm not sure what you call these lessons in America, but it's like PE, physical education, or games. We had, something went missing, and this was primary school. Something went missing and the teacher was furious. I can't even remember what it was now. I think it was like a small item of school property, and it had gone missing, and he ordered a bag search. And so everyone had to empty their school bags because he was looking for this thing. It might have been like a stopwatch or something, but someone had pinched it and it had gone missing. And he ordered this bag search, so everyone had to pour out their bags to see what was in them. Well, out of my bag fell a newspaper, right? Because I was always encouraged to. I was a very early reader, and I was quite an advanced reader from quite early on, and I'd always taken a really big interest in current affairs. My mum always encouraged me to sit down and watch the news and to take an interest in current affairs and what was happening, you know, in the world and politically and all this kind of thing. Well, this newspaper fell out of my bag, and the teacher saw it, and he came over and he demanded to know. He said, "Whose newspaper is this?" I was like, "Well, it's mine, sir." Where did you get this? Yeah, I got it in the newsagent. Yeah, whose is this? Where did you buy this? I said, "Look, I bought it in the newsagent out of my money." "Why?" He was saying, "What? Why have you?" I said, "Well, because I want to read it." And like by this point, all the other kids were like, "Really?" What? And everyone else was saying, "Why have you got a newspaper in your bag?" I was like, "I read newspapers, okay? What is so weird about that?" And this is when newspaper readership was still quite a big thing. And everyone was, I found it hilarious. A couple of my pals found it hilarious as well, but this teacher was dumbfounded. I think if it had been an English teacher that was ordering this bag search, he would have been quite impressed. But I can just imagine the sort of conversation in the staff room. Do you know, we found a newspaper in his bag. I'm not sure if they ever found the item that they really were looking for, but that story from school was always stuck in my mind. How many countries have you visited? Oh, I'm not sure. How many countries have I visited? I don't know, quite a few. What was your favourite worst subject in high school? So my favourite subject was English and geography. I used to love geography. And my worst subject in school was definitely math. I hated it, and I still do. I also remember really disliking history, but I think that was because our history teacher was useless, and he didn't make the history lessons at all entertaining or even vaguely interesting. I mean, now I'd love to go back and restudy history now because it's so interesting, but he didn't know how to teach it properly, and so yeah, maths, which I still hate to this day, and history. What is your favourite drink, animal, perfume? So my favourite drink is probably either tea or gin. You can tell I'm English, can't you? Favourite animal, dogs. I love dogs. Dogs, cats, llamas. There's not many animals that I don't like. Perfume, probably the classics, you know, Chanel. I really like Poison as well, which is a really old one. What would you or have you name your children? So my 2 boys have got Irish names. The oldest one's Connor and the youngest one is Callum. What sports do you play or have you played? So I used to play football, which I don't anymore because I'm far too old, and I've gone off football a bit. We are in the middle at the moment, as I'm filming this, of a World Cup. And England are doing very well in this World Cup. I've not been at all interested in what's been happening with the other teams in the World Cup, but I suppose it's always nice to see England do well. I do like a bit of cricket, and I do like to watch a bit of tennis. Wimbledon is on at the moment as well. Who are some of your favourite YouTubers? Well, apart from my favourite booktubers, the other YouTubers that I watch are probably what I call tech tubers, like technology channels. So MKBHD, I watch quite a lot. Linus Tech Tips and that kind of thing. So if it isn't booktube I'm watching on YouTube, it's usually some technology channel. How many girlfriends stroke boyfriends have you had? I've got absolutely no idea of this question at all. So I'm going to go on to the next one. Favourite memory from childhood. Favourite memory from childhood is probably my mum reading me stories when I was little. She was always very keen on, it was my mum that encouraged me to take an interest in the news, really. And my mum reading me stories, taking me to visits to the library, that kind of thing. Childhood holidays, always. Why is it that childhood summers always seem so sunny? And yet probably summers haven't changed that much over the years. But childhood summers always seem very sunny, don't they? How would you describe your fashion sense? I didn't realise that I had a fashion sense, really. I suppose I can be quite formal in the way I dress. I don't wear that many t-shirts, but I like things with like a collar. Middle-aged chic. If I have, I don't think I've got much of a fashion sense, really. I don't really pay that much attention to it anymore. What phone do you have, iOS or Android? I'm iOS, so I do all my filming on my iPhone, so this is an iPhone 10. I've had all the iPhones. I've never had I don't really get on with Android phones. Vicky's got an Android. She's got a Pixel 2, which is really good actually. And if I ever, Pixel would be the only Android phone that I would go to if I wasn't on Apple. Tell us one of your bad habits. Too many to name, probably. I can be a bit of a nail biter. You'll have to ask Vicky, and the video will be at least 10 minutes longer. I've probably got a whole list of bad habits. That's the end of the tag. That was a very interesting tag. Thank you, Will, for tagging me. Thank you, Andrew. I think you tagged me in this as well. I'm not going to tag anyone in particular because I never do. If you haven't done this tag and you would like a go, give it a go. I'm not sure who done the original. I know it's been floating around BookTube now or even YouTube for quite a while. Whatever you're doing this week, enjoy your books. We are off to Yorkshire again for another Yorkshire weekend. I shall catch up with you very soon for another BookTube video. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.